Analysis exercise. We're on page 11 in the handout at this point. We need to digitize the watershed outlet point. Now, to do that, we're going to try and understand where the outlet would be in this watershed. And we're turn the DEM, the study DEM, extracted, filled, study DEM. You can see that our vector streams are exiting down at this point. At least the major stream is exiting down at this point. So that's where we're going to form our outlet. Now to do this, we need to start editing, and we'll start editing, and we're going to be selecting our outlet layer, and we're going to be using the create features for our outlet, and we're going to be digitizing on that stream. Now, in order to do this, we want to make sure we're zoomed in, so we're actually placing the outlet on the stream. So we'll want to be fairly close. We use create features, outlet, and we're going to put our drain or our outlet right on the reclassified stream layer. We'll do editor, stop editing, and we'll save edits. Now we'll zoom back out, and we'll use that point, that outlet that we created within the hydrology functions to actually snap that pour point into our analysis. So we're snapping the pour point, and we're using the outlet as our feature pour point data. And the object ID, we can leave that as object ID. And for our flow accumulation, we select our flow accumulation. And for our output, we're going to call that our pour point. And we're going to put in a snap distance. Now, this snap distance is important. You don't want to put too large a number. You don't want to put too small a number. But basically what's happening here is we're saying if the flow accumulation reclassified streams are within 3 meters, in this case, of our point, we want to snap to it. So we make sure that our drain is actually on the flow accumulation reclassified stream layer. We then select OK, and now our pour point, our outlet, has been snapped in. This step is a very important one, and it's basically associating that vector point layer with the proper flow accumulation. So basically we're snapping in, or we're gluing in, the drain in the bottom of the bathtub. Our next step now is to determine the watershed, or the top edge of the bathtub. To do that, we use Arc Toolbox, Watershed option, and we're doing our flow direction raster, which is F direction. We're using our snap pour point, which is our R pour point, and we're directing that output to a layer which we'll call a watershed. Now this will be a raster layer, because a watershed is that area which contributes to the water to that outlet or to that drain. We'll select OK. When it's done, you'll see something that looks like the screen in front of you. Next, we'll try and make it look a little neater. So we'll change the streams to a stream color. However wide you want them to be, 1 probably would be logical. And now we're going to change the watershed to about 50% transparent, so we'll be able to get an idea of what's underneath it. So we're going to select the color, and we'll select that as perhaps a gray color, and we'll see what that looks like. We've got our gray color, and now we're going to give that a 50% transparency up in display and transparency here at 50%. Apply OK, and you can see the result. We're looking through the watershed, and you can see the boundary of the watershed here. This is the area where water is collecting down to this outlet. Now, to display this in a little nicer fashion, we'll actually be calculating a hillshade. To do the hillshade calculation, we'll use our toolbox, Spatial Analyst, Surface, and we'll be using hillshade. Using the hillshade analysis, our study DEM is our input, and our output raster will be hillshade 25. And we'll leave the azimuth at 315, and we'll change our altitude to 25. So we're showing the altitude of our light source, the sun in this case, will be lower, so there'll be more shadows, and we'll model the shadows, and we'll leave our Z factor as 1, so we're not accentuating things. We'll select OK, and we'll now have a hillshade that we could display underneath our imagery. We'll make the hillshade transparent by 50% as we did before. And we'll put the hillshade underneath the watershed. And see how that looks. You're getting an idea where the hills are. We're trying to decide whether it should be above or below. Getting a little idea of the shadows. It's a little better above. You're getting an idea how we're dressing it up. This completes this video.